Hello everybody, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day so far. I know that I have gotten off to a pretty good start. I say that I literally have woken up, walked the dog, thrown some laundry into the washing machine, and now I'm here. But you know what, that's great, it's a good day for me. So I have a question for you guys. Do you have any pets? And if so, what kind of pets are they? If you don't have any pets, what pet would you choose to have? That is my opening question for today. I also have today's prompt. So for those of you who would like to draw along during today's stream, the prompt is bottle of what? Just because, you know what? I think it's funny, but the amount of times that I, a British person in the US, have heard someone say bottle of water to me it's an impressive number. So yeah, that's your prompt. It's a little bit of a weird one, but I'm sure you can get pretty creative with the options here. You know, take it in any direction you choose. There are no rules. The direction could be ignoring the prompt entirely and just drawing whatever you want, but either way, let's get some things off the ground. I have a Discord server, the link is in the description, and if you would like to post what you're working on whilst listening to the stream, you can put it in the channel in there, which is Stream Draws, and that isn't just stuff to do with the prompt. You can put things from just generally today. Don't forget that if you do choose to join the server, you need to react to a message that we've got in one of the channels to make sure that you're actually a member. That's just to avoid bots being a problem. But yes, I would love to see you guys stop by if you're not in there already. Second off, I am working today, as I have been in all my streams lately, on my short film FiREWORKS. And if you would like to read the script or see a few pieces of development work, they are available on my website, which is www.pt3.com. If you want to see all of the behind the scenes stuff, then that is available on my Patreon, and that is in the description just like everything else, and that is patreon.com/mepity. That I will be consistently updating with any work that I have been completing, and that includes a speed paint with voiceover and a Photoshop file of the expression sheet that I worked on live the other day. So last week when we did the expression sheet for the father, that was maybe a total of 6 hours of streaming. I have condensed that into a 6-minute speed paint using, the Procreate function, and I just talk over it quickly. So if that's something that interests you, that is available to, I believe, the $10 tier patrons. $4 a month though, you can get like any of the updates other than that for FiREWORKS, as well as a couple other cool things. I've been talking a lot. Let's see in the chat if we've got any animal things. So we have, let's see, we got a Labradoodle, sweet, I've got a Golden Doodle. We have 5 dogs, 4 dogs, but that's a lot of dogs. Gosh, I don't know how you manage. I can barely handle one. A tabby cat, 2 birds, parakeets, that's awesome. You want a puppy, specifically a Shiba Inu. You have a parrot. Don't have any now, but we have had tons of bull terriers from the same family. That's really cool. So it looks like we've got a dog chat up in here today. Very nice, very nice. As for myself, I don't have any pets with me in this part of the world. I am looking after a cat and a dog currently. And back at home, we have a cat and a bunch of farm animals and a bunch of peacocks, which is, I wouldn't quite consider them pets. We had one that I would truly consider a pet, Lumen, who unfortunately passed away when I started Cal Arts, but that little guy was abandoned by his mother, tiny little white peacock, and so he would sleep on my chest at night because, that's the closest you could get to having a feathered mother, I suppose. So he would sleep on me and then I'd put a blanket on top. But I miss him very much. By the way, I hope everyone in Europe is doing okay, especially in the UK. If you guys don't know, there's a really intense heat wave at the minute, and it's so intense that animals are getting sick, people are getting sick, even the fit and healthy people, because if you're in the US, there's AC culture here. Everyone has AC units for the most part installed in their homes, but that is very, very uncommon in the UK and much of Europe. And yeah, so it means that people are melting in their homes. And unfortunately, we have 3 sets of mothers, peacock mothers, that is. One just had her babies today, another had them a couple days ago. I think the other is still sitting on her eggs. And I don't know how those babies are going to manage their first week alive in the world in 40-degree heat. So that's what, 40 degrees Celsius. That's 110 Fahrenheit. So yeah, I'm so sorry to all my European pals that are dealing with the heat. It does not seem fun. Someone asked, oh, didn't you have a rabbit? Yeah, I did. I've had several in my life. We had Cream and Gray, who are brothers, and Cream passed away when he was going to get neutered. I mean, rabbits are very sensitive and weak hearts, and so he didn't make it out of anesthesia. But Gray we had for several years, who featured in my Cal Arts portfolio video. He also passed away at a very similar time to Lumen, just before I went to Cal Arts. But you know what, he had a good hoppy life, and it was very sudden, but yeah, he had a good life, so I don't feel too bad about it, you know? I'm sure he's in hoppy heaven having a great time. I've had multiple cats. I've never had a dog. Don't plan on it, personally. But yeah, those are my pets. From Spain too. Yeah, we've got some Portuguese people, some Spanish people. That's really awesome. Liza or Lisa Chu, thank you for letting us know that you went downstairs to eat a banana. Welcome back. We love this information in this household. I really want a banana, but I finished all of mine and I'm too lazy to go grocery shopping. It does remind me though, I made tea and it's just sitting over there at the side. I'm gonna get that. Give me just a second. Our houses are built to keep heat in. Yeah, keeping the heat in is just, you want that in the winter time, not in the summer. I'm coming back, sorry. I'm removing my tea bag. I don't even know if you can hear me or if I'm just echoey. Okay, I have this. I'm gonna move this coat out the way, it's kind of raggedy. I'm loving my dress today, just saying. Hang on. Let's get full cam. Dude. It's full length dress and it's got a big old slit at the back, but you probably can't see it. Whatever. But I think it's very fun. In fact, I love this dress so much that I have a different color scheme. It's purple, blue, pink. Loved it, so I bought this one too. Same pattern, different colors. So yeah, that's my outfit of the day. And then these big old earrings and stuff, and dude, I don't know. Anyway, I think we are about ready to get going. Let me know if there is any, what am I saying? Let me know if there's any issues with sound or the screen and whatever, but I think for now, I'm just gonna move on to this. All right, so this is where we left off yesterday. We were doing poses mostly for Maya and then got around to one pose for Eddie. And today we're going to, I haven't fully decided yet. I think we're going to sketch out some more Eddie drawings and then ink some stuff. I haven't decided, I really haven't. I should probably have planned that sooner, but I'm also debating on if I should just split the two up, which I think I might. So I have a separate pose sheet for Maya, a separate pose sheet for Eddie, and then a whole new pose sheet for Maya and Eddie together, because just as a reminder, today is part 3 of pose sheets. Part 1, we spent a long ass time working on this image, which I think is great, and I think we need some more stuff like this, but in the meantime, not so much. So we can leave that. Let's see. You know what? Just for the sake of it, because we are reaching layer limits too, apparently. I'm gonna call this the Maya pose sheet. Cool. make this the Eddie. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Pose sheet. In terms of naming conventions, I'm still trying to figure it out, but what I tend to do for this project is I have the name of the character, an underscore, and then what the file is, like what type it is, where I there's no spaces, but I capitalize the first letter of the word, and then another underscore for what version it is, if I'm doing that, if that's something required. Okay, and this will be my Eddie. Cool, now I have 3 versions, and I think we're gonna head over into this, which is gonna be Eddie's pose sheet, which means I can dump, let's see, I can dump all of that. I can get rid of this, I can get rid of this, I can get rid of that, I can get rid of the checklist because I'm kind of not bothered by it anymore. Doodle time, can get rid of that. Reference, we can scrap all of the Maya stuff. Okay, that is that. I can scrap that too. And then I can even scrap Maya here. Sorry Maya, you've been bumped out of the picture for today. Oh no. I think she doesn't mind. She probably needs a break. Okay. And then we can scrap the Maya sketches as well. So we have 1 sketch so far of Eddie. I think there's a couple changes I'd like to make to this, but I will leave those until later. One major change though I want to do right now is lengthen his legs a little. Just because you can see the top half of his leg is significantly shorter than the bottom half of his leg. And it's kind of harder to see because his legs are kind of broken up by the boot. Oh, the AC has decided to turn on. I might have to turn that off in a second, hang on. And then I'm going to shorten these legs. If you tuned into yesterday's stream, you know how much I was fiddling around with this. And I'm back fiddling even more. Great. Yeah, the top part of his legs is shorter than his torso, so they need to be much shorter. Like that, probably. Like there. Alright, well that feels better already. I don't know why I had it so messed up, but I guess that's the thing that happens when you draw and you're so absorbed in the world you're working in that you completely forget to acknowledge the actual proportions of things. Also, I just realized I had my pillow from yesterday poking up. I've left that here because I might need some help on that. Oh wait, no, I used the pillow 3 days ago. Yeah, this pillow has been sitting out in the kitchen for a while. Anyway, let's see. How are the poses used? I'm not entirely sure what you mean, but I'm guessing you're saying what is the point of this, like these poses? Is that along the lines of it? So a couple things. In my case today and yesterday, these poses are actual angles and poses that I plan to have in the final film. So this is kind of like a practice round of trying to get everything looking accurate and feeling right and being composed nicely so that when I put it into an actual, like a camera frame, it's gonna work well. But on top of that, these poses are good to kind of see if things function. So like, how does the arm move? What are the limits of the leg? How far can your head and back turn and so forth? That being said, none of the poses I've got for these characters so far are very dramatic or pushed. And honestly, the reason they're not is because the characters don't move much. I think the most action that we see in this whole film is Eddie throws something, and I'm gonna find some reference online because for that specific pose, because I tried to I tried to take a picture of me pretending to throw something, and I just looked so awkward. Like, it didn't even look like I was throwing anything. It looked like I was attempting and failing at dancing. So yeah, I don't know. Isabella, you are not late, don't worry. We are 20 minutes in, yes, but we have not started drawing yet. I'm gonna very quickly turn off the AC so that it doesn't get too loud in here. And also because it's definitely not warm, it's not needed right now. I'm doing okay temperature-wise. I'll be right back. Okay, never mind. I don't know how that thermostat works. I think it's gonna like figure it out itself. But I turned the temperature up, so it should stop soon, hopefully. Let's see if my tea is cold enough to try and drink. Almost there. Definitely still too hot though. Are you sensitive to heat when it comes to things like drinking tea, hot liquids and stuff? I definitely am. I don't know how people manage to drink like actually hot drinks. Well, whatever. I'm gonna move on. Let's see. We're gonna grab this. I'm gonna turn down the, oh, that's not the right brush. I'm gonna grab an inking brush, turn down the opacity a little. And then let's find a pose to draw. Add, insert a photo. Here are all my cringy reference images. We drew one of him sitting, driving kind of sideways on, so how about we get something a little more interesting, like, there you go, there's my AC turning off, like him dropping his stuff. Wow, look at my very elegant face. I should probably have planned what he's holding in his arms, but I did not do that. That's not very smart of me. Well, I can figure that out when we get to the inking stage, I suppose. In the meantime, we can just sketch vague blobs, and I'm okay with that. I really want my tea. I do hope it cools down in the next, like, minute. In terms of how much of the pose is visible, I'm going to maybe try and get the legs out, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah. You're eating food right out of the oven and sharing scalding hot water. No, like I take cold showers. Well, I say cold, they're like lukewarm at best. And then sometimes if I'm feeling brave enough, or if I've gone on a run or something, or been out in the sun, then I'll take like just a straight up cold shower. So I'm the opposite. I drink cold tea, I eat cold food, like I can't be bothered to heat it up. Cold everything for me. I'd much rather be too cold than too hot also in life. So, yeah. You know, hey, that's a question that I can ask you guys. Would you rather be too hot or too cold? Let me know in the comments. You know, I don't know how live streams work. On YouTube, if you have a lot of comments on like a regular post, that builds engagement, and so it kind of boosts your chances of getting into people's recommended. Live streams, I don't know if that's the case, because I feel like if it was, then I could ask you guys to spam the chat, but then that's like a mess, you know? I don't necessarily want to spammy chat, but I like the idea of you all having conversation in here, so don't be afraid to type in chat and let me know what's up. Yeah, it looks like everyone wants to be too cold. Thank you for being reasonable. Okay, I'm gonna do a facial expression thing here because I'm still very much not used to the angles of Eddie's face. So, yeah. Okay. His face angle is going to be a little bit like this one up here, I think. Maybe? Actually, no, it's more straight on, but he's looking down with his eyes. I don't know where I'm looking in this reference image, but yeah. Yeah, let's try this angle. Gonna do some real quick tracing, as I have mentioned in the past couple days. Like this. His mouth isn't nearly as open as in this current sketch, so whoops, wow, that's a big old brush. I forgot that I was working on my thumbnail yesterday, so all my brushes are residual thumbnail brushes. Lots of airbrushing apparently. something like that. And then the eyebrows are going to be high up like this, like to indicate surprise basically. And then the eyes are going to be pretty big as well. I don't know where I'm looking exactly, so I'll leave that in for just a moment when we have not got this traced version. Then we have the little sideburny thing that makes a bit of an appearance. Neck comes out. Okay, cool, that's a good start. We can increase the size of that. Nope, I don't want magnetics or snapping right now. Tilt him, actually, yeah, he's gonna look up more than we currently have him. But I'll figure that out in the next layer. Just gonna, for now, real quickly, get that base shape in. So, you know, actually, hang on, let me erase his neck because it's in the wrong place. His shoulder is coming forward, as you can see on my reference, because he's trying very hard to like keep all the stuff together in place. So that is that. Also a reminder that his shoulders aren't as huge as his coat indicates. So that's what I'm referencing for where these little balls go. Drop the playlist. Wait, are you referencing me? Do I have a playlist? I'm so confused. The music is very nice. Oh! It's literally just Lo-Fi Girl, Best of Lo-Fi Hip Hop 2021 Beats to Relax / Study to, and it's the longest video that's not live. It's 6 hours and 32 minutes, so I've been using this on repeat for the last couple days, and it's very useful, and I'm very thankful that Lo-Fi Girl allows streamers to use this music without issue. Man, I am thirsty. Okay. Why am I struggling so much with this pose already? I don't know. Something like that, and then something like this, and I'm exaggerating just a touch this time around in terms of the angles of things. You know, I don't have to be perfectly matched to my reference. So something like this and something like this. There's a little bit of foreshortening happening on this arm, so this one is ever so slightly longer. And then the paddle of his hand comes out. I still don't know how to draw hands. I should probably try and learn properly. Well, like, I do know how to draw hands, but it's just I get lazy, and so I kind of draw them, but I don't think about them very much. Also, I don't know what my hair is doing today. No, it's fine, I don't care. Unfortunately, I have cropped things off because I'm not very good at taking reference images, apparently. What tablet do you recommend? Well, I can't recommend anything other than the stuff I know, and the stuff that I use is an iPad Pro 12.9 inch from 2019. Oh yeah, that's another thing. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, but I do suggest going into the description first because I have an FAQ there. So first of all, check if you have a frequently asked question. Chances are I've already answered it. And if I haven't answered it, then, you know, drop it in the chat and I'll do my best to give you a live answer. I want his hands to not, they look too elegant right now. I want him to kind of look like he's really grabbing the stuff. I think that looks better. And then his other hand is a paddle this way. Something along those lines. Gosh, he's got some seriously broken thumbs. And then there, and then something like that. Okay, first off, if we look at his hands here compared to the size of his head, they are almost as long, straightened out, as the head. My drawings here, they are way too small. So rather than adjusting the hands, I'm just going to shrink the head down. And I think that actually still works. It still kind of matches the placement of his shoulders more or less. I just want to see. Yeah, this looks about right. I'm gonna put his head down even more. I'm gonna put it on this side actually, so then it actually lines up more with what my sketch is doing. Something like that. Yeah, that works. Okay, whoops, I added those shoulder lines to the wrong layer. Never mind. Well, there you go, I've added them to the correct layer now. And then his torso is very short, and it kind of comes in somewhere over here. And that means his hips are somewhere here, and they also go in. They do not go out like Maya's do. I drew that wrong in terms of the angle. It needs to be more like this. And that means that the whole thing needs to move like that, I think. Yeah, it's good enough. This arm is a little too long now, actually. I don't think I've got a solid or fun line of action here. Let me try some stuff. I should have drawn the torso and things in a separate layer. I'm gonna try and erase them now. I say erase. I've moved them to a different layer so I can try it again. Yeah, this number 2 document is taking a while. Okay, this is already better, I think, this more dramatic angle. Because also, Eddie is very tall, and he's in a convertible car that's rather small, and him spilling all these items right now is him spilling the stuff into his car seat. So, or like kind of into the back of the car. And the car is not very tall. It's like maybe hip height for me-ish. I should probably have taken reference images, because this is based on a real car that my dad owns. It's a 1953 MG, a very nice car. He got it, it was like a kind of, it was his first car, and he still has it to this day, and that's why I want to honor this car and have it in this film. Because also, fun fact, the car itself that's going to be in the film is just going to be a bunch of photos of the real car from a bunch of different angles. I am going to need to invest in a really good camera, and maybe even taking the car to, like, not a film set, but somewhere where there's no, like a green room or something as plain as possible, so that he's not gonna have too many reflections in it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna make it work. If it ends up looking a little janky, it's okay, because that kind of matches the vibe of this multimedia film. But yes. Anyway, what are your thoughts on DeviantArt bases like Frank and Dolling and such? I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but I also do think that it's like a crutch, where if you're using a bunch of bases, are you learning the actual anatomy and how the poses work, or are you just copying the shapes and lines you see, if that makes sense? Like, right now, I have a real life reference, right? But in my head, I'll show you very quickly what I'm doing. I'm not just drawing like the lines and so forth. I am very much considering this as a 3D form. So, hang on, let me turn down the opacity of this. So I've got my skull, and the way that my face, the plane of my face is like here, and then my ear is here, and how that like connects to the neck, and how my shoulders are brought up. And so that they're here, and there's a little bit of foreshortening, so the angle of my arms here, a little different to the angle of my arm here, and the muscles coming there because I'm going to the gym and I'm trying to get some muscles. You know, I'm thinking and breaking this form down in my head, but when you are tracing or copying off of an already broken down form, it's a little harder to actually build an understanding of what you're working on, if that makes sense. What do you use when you work in harmony? Is there a way to connect an iPad to a computer and use it as a tablet for that as well? I believe you can do, is it called Sidecar, is a thing where you use your iPad as another display, like as a monitor, and you can work in other software using it. I've never tried it, but I've heard that some people at my school do. I have a Huion tablet, and I do have a large Cintiq that hopefully should be on its way before the end of summer. It was meant to be a Christmas present, but that's a whole long story. Yes, I currently have a 16-inch Huion tablet, which I'm using as a display to see what you guys are seeing. And yeah, we'll see. Yeah, now my tea is getting too cold. Of course it is. More questions. I know it's probably a bit down in the pipeline, but how do you plan on integrating the 2D animation into the 3D backgrounds? I'm doing something similar for my thesis, and the best option I've found so far is Blender. I've never used Blender, so I don't know exactly what the benefits of Blender are in terms of integrating between 2D and 3D. All of my models, because I have got something for every set, none of them, only one set is finished. Actually, no, not even that set is finished, really. I've got to do the outside portion. But my film sets are built in Maya, which is the industry standard currently. I think that's slowly shifting. That's a discussion for another time, though. But yeah, I think, again, I've not tested this, so it might not work, but I think I'm going to animate in Harmony, right? But I will have like sort of screenshots or play blasts of the motion that I'm having in the, in the 3D environment. And there's two options. Depending on the type of camera move, I either A, animate in respect to exactly what we're seeing in the 3D motion. So that means that I won't actually end up integrating the characters into the 3D backgrounds. It'll be just a bunch of After Effects compositing. Or B, especially if the camera is mostly static, I will then animate on Harmony, then import that into like a card or a plane, so it's just like a flat thing, into Maya, and then it can be lit and so forth in the 3D space. But again, I have not decided what is going to be what, or if it's going to work. Luckily, I have my mentor who is a 3D wizard, and he is going to hopefully be able to point me in the right direction with stuff like that. Yeah. How do you come up with ideas for your animation stories? Rather, what was the spark for FiREWORKS? You know, I was asked that the other day, and I think I gave an answer, but the truth is, I don't remember exactly where FiREWORKS came from. What I do know is I love anthology storytelling, where there's a theme, right? There's a theme, but there's not necessarily one singular story, or there's like A plots, B plots, C plots kind of deal, but then everything comes together at the end, except it's an A plot, an A plot, and an A plot, almost. You know, they feel like totally separate stories, and then they become one. So that's that. And I guess I was just thinking about the world and life, and was thinking, okay, without spoilers, so I'm not going to explain what the question was, but I was like, okay, if this happened in your life, if this is a thing you were going to experience, how would you react? What would you do? And then I was thinking about all the different options of how someone may react to a certain stimulus, whatever. And that's what my characters are doing. They are reacting to the same stimulus in different ways. So yeah, Hi Annie, looking very picklish. Gee, thanks. You know what, pickles are good. I'll take that as a compliment. What on earth? Eddie's legs are looking really awkward because he is right up against the car. So his knees aren't able to bend forward. They have to bend out to the side. So he looks like some awkward chicken. And we won't even see his legs, but I want to just get an idea of what the angling is so that I can make sure I'm not accidentally breaking too much physics with this pose. Something like that. His feet can be fine. They have space under the car. Bring this in a little more though. Cool. Gosh, it's very jarring seeing how big his arms look right now. They're a little too big, but it's fine because I'm gonna be what's it called? They're going to be bulked up anyway because of the coat. That being said, I do need to shrink them slightly, but preserve the hand size more or less. I want to make sure that the hands don't overlap. I want there to be a clear read here. So something like that. And then grab this arm. I'm sorry if this is kind of illegible to you guys, by the way. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm drawing. And then I'm gonna, what's it called? Turn that down and, what is this? So this is the old thing. And I'm gonna draw a new face in, a new layer. So this new face is going to be higher up, like this. His cheeks are going to be up. His eyebrows are going to be almost completely disappeared because they've kind of gone past the edge of where his face ends. In terms of the face, I don't know. Ugh, that's such an ugly looking face, but I don't know how to make it look like the way that I'm just kind of sucking my mouth into itself the way I do on myself. I don't know how to do that on this very flat looking cartoon character, so I might have to change the expression, but we'll get to that when we get to it. In the meantime, I'm just going to try and get the rest of the face worked in. There goes the ear. Actually, the ear needs to come further down now because I've tilted his whole head up. And his hair is going to be kind of drooping over himself like this. Maybe something along those lines. And then that here, and then this side. I don't know how to draw this guy's hair. Whoops. I should probably know that. Maybe more like that. We can fix all of this later. I am not so concerned. Like, there's kind of a lack of symmetry right now, and I get that. Okay. Which overlay modes do you mostly use for textures? I can never get the textures to feel right. I use mostly overlay and soft light. That's what I use. And I tend to pick, let's see if I can find an example. I can't be bothered for a full example, but I tend to pick like a mid-grayish color. So what that does is it means it doesn't like impact the colors too much, and it also doesn't impact the value, so how light or dark something is too much either. Then you can of course turn the opacity down. I usually do turn the opacity down a little bit, otherwise it can just be a bit in your face. Yeah, that's that. It might be a bit broad, but how can I get an art mentor? Good question. I'm not sure about that one. I've not really had an art mentor. I had one lady teach me oil painting because my mom found her at like a local market, and she was fun, but I wouldn't consider an art mentor. It was more like teaching me the basics of a way of painting. I suppose you can go on Women in Animation and see, look into their mentorship program, but I think that's very selective and you might have to be at a certain level in the industry already. I think they expect you to be like a junior or a senior in college or something. But yeah, I'm not sure. Hi Anya, for 1 million, would you stop drawing? I could never. For $1 million, would I stop drawing? It would need to be more than 1 million, but I would definitely stop drawing for some money because I'm not a drawing person. I don't really draw much. I don't like drawing very much, which I know is ironic considering I'm literally here drawing in front of you guys, but I am a storyteller, and that's not in like a pretentious, pompous manner. I mean like the reason I draw is so I can tell stories and have like some compelling, try and get into the thoughts of people. If I do that through drawing, great, that's my current strength. But if I can do it with another medium, even better. And so longer term, you know, I want to be a director or a showrunner, and that means I'll be telling other people what to draw. But also, if I wasn't a director necessarily, I'd love to be in a writer's room. I would love, love, love to write. I very much enjoy it. I don't know if I'm especially strong at it yet, but I wrote the script for FiREWORKS, and it was my third ever script that I'd written, and I think it's gonna only go up from here, you know. I really do enjoy studying like story structure and stuff like that. I don't know any technical terms, but I have a good feeling, if I do say myself. Wow, words. If I do say so myself, I consider myself to have a pretty good feeling for story beats and kind of the pacing of things, especially if I have other people, if I'm using other people's work to start with. Like, I would consider myself a very good editor. If someone comes and shows me storyboards, I can give good feedback. If someone shows me a script, I can give good feedback. If I'm doing it from scratch, I struggle a little more, but yeah, I like having something to bounce off of, essentially. I feel like the face that I'm pulling, it looks like my whole face is being pulled down, and so I'm considering just exaggerating that. Even though his mouth is usually all the way up here, we can just have him look concerned. I don't know what this face is. Yeah, it could be something along those lines. Yeah, we can try that. For now. Oh, he doesn't have pupils. His eyes are just black. Okay, well, I think I need to bring this eye in a touch. Just a touch. There you go, that looks more like him now. Whatever, it's close enough. Okay, I'm gonna extend this just a tiny bit because I still want some of his big chin to make an appearance. And I do want to raise the shoulder up a little more on the one side. So allow me to do that with the liquify tool. Cool. Actually, no, other way around. I should do the other arm because then that better impacts the flow of the image. The line of action is curving the other way to what I just tried to do. Okay, yeah, that's better. I'm starting a new sketchbook right now. Can you give me a stupid idea for me to draw? Well, the drawing prompt for today's stream is at the very top of the description, and that is, what is it? It's bottle of what? It's just a silly thing based on, you know, the British people saying bottle of water type of deal. What are your thoughts on the 3D backgrounds in Amazing World of Gumball? I've never watched watched Gumball, but that's exactly what I'm going for. I want realistic backgrounds and 2D animation on top. That's exactly it. So that should give you an idea of how I feel about that kind of thing. I love that type of stuff, and I want to see more of it in mainstream media. At what age did you see clear improvement in your art, and would you accredit it to anything? I don't think I ever saw very clear, specific improvement at any one time. I would see certain types of improvement in different ways, but I don't remember what age. At 10 was when was the very first time in my life that I really tried to draw well. I drew a peacock. At 13 was when I decided to pursue a career in animation, so I started to learn figure drawing and gesture drawing and that kind of deal. At 17, I went to CSA, the California State Summer School for the Arts, and there I just learned a few more experimental qualities and just different things to pay attention to. At 15, so sorry, going back a bit, I took a portfolio development workshop with a teacher who taught at Cal Arts, and that was a very valuable time. I think that is when I noticed the biggest amount of improvement. That was the first time that I was like really considering what I wanted my pieces to look like. So rather than using just a bunch of the different brushes my software had to offer, which made my work look very digital, that's where I learned about texture and overlays and trying to figure out like how to get a nice feeling, a distinctive feeling for my pieces, as opposed to the generic Photoshop look and so forth. So yeah, I guess 10, 13, 15, and 17. Don't remember if I witnessed anything at 19. No, at 19 was when I made all my portfolio pieces that got me jobs. 21, which is what I am now, is I don't know. I've still got a little ways to go for this age, but it looks like all my odd numbers are the years that I notice marked improvement. So I guess I'm waiting to see what happens in the next 6 months or so. The 6 months or so that I have left of being 21. Oh wow. Ew. I feel so old. Did you attempt to get into CSA more than once? No, I got in the first time, which was very nice and very fortunate. I would have only had one more opportunity to apply after I had discovered the school. I didn't know about CSA until I think it was like a week after the deadline for when I was 16, and then when I was 17 I got in. And then when I would have been 18, I would have already been accepted into Cal Arts, so yeah. Thanks for sharing your process, Anya. Will you be showing us your animation process when it comes to it? I personally love speed animation videos and feel there isn't enough of it on YouTube. Yes, I will be live streaming, and I will probably have some speed animation stuff. I might put some on Patreon and then maybe one video on my main YouTube channel. We shall see. And then I'll have my making of video. Yeah. How long is FiREWORKS going to be? Roughly 7 to 8 minutes, I think. I have not made the animatics. Well, I haven't even made the storyboards. So I do not yet have an estimate other than what's based off of my script. And that can be a little inaccurate. So, because, you know, the timing for visuals is different to timing for words. Am I still at Cal Arts? Yes, I am. I will be entering my 3rd year after this summer is over. So I'm actually halfway through now, which is kind of weird. Really weird. Makes me very uncomfortable. Seeing as for so long in my life, this was like the biggest goal of mine, and now it's like, okay, well, what's next? I say, oh, what's next? I have plans now beyond CalArts. Like, CalArts is no longer my dream. I'm here already, I'm living it. But yeah. So I'm definitely still at CalArts. I took a year off of school because of the pandemic, meaning that I would have been in my final year actually if things had all gone to plan. But nope, nothing went to plan in the last 2 years for the world, so there we go. Would you have monthly prints for your patrons? I don't know about monthly, because I would have to make sure I put out enough work for that, and that's going to be very dependent on how manageable school is for me for the upcoming year. I actually have 3 jobs this year for school. I'm on student union, I'm student treasurer, and I am going to be a teaching assistant. So it's going to be a lot to manage. I do have a sticker set though for $10 patrons, so you can get an exclusive Patreon only sticker set, which I'm supposed to be getting mailed a sample, but it hasn't arrived yet, and I think it's actually I don't know if it hasn't arrived, I just haven't been told, but I'm not at my mailbox, so I can't check for like a week. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about that. I'm not a big prints person. I love prints, but my artwork doesn't seem to lend itself to printing because it's often like no interesting backgrounds, or it's not really composed well. It's usually just a drawing on plain white, and I don't know if that's what people would want in print form, you know? So I'll have to check in on that. Maybe that's a little more accurate, like this. Something along those lines. I'm drawing in Eddie's coat right now, just as an FYI. Totally random, Hank, but when I see your profile picture, I just imagine that you are that little cartoon. Like that's you. And I cannot imagine a realistically rendered actual real life human. I just imagine you're a cartoon living in the real world, and that's very fun to me. My 12-minute script is going on 20 minutes of animation. Yeah. Also, goodness me, good luck with that. I don't know. I don't think my script is manageable, and mine's only 10 pages. And it's just getting longer and longer the more I think about it and the more I plan. I'm trying not to overload my script, I'm trying not to overload my film though. You know, I don't want it to be excessive. I want it to only have what's necessary for the story to really be told well. But it is still looking like it's getting longer. We shall see what happens when I get feedback from my peers. Because that might be the moment where I discover, oh, you know what? I don't need this, and I don't need that, and blah, 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 blah. Why does this look so weird? Eddie's face looks kind of ridiculous in this image. And I'm kind of not super sure why. But you know what? It might be that his face is not really looking the right way. Maybe it needs to be what, sticky outy? Like this? I don't know. I'm definitely still getting used to these characters, but I hope that I can flesh them out and make them look more accurate when it counts. I'm suddenly so tired already again. Goodness me. I've barely started. I'm still halfway through this first sketch, and we're an hour in. Okay, I'm hoping to not stream for more than 3 hours today, just because I've got a lot planned, and I'm getting a little bit burnt out from streaming so consistently. I'm really enjoying it, don't get me wrong, but I want to. It's not even the streaming aspect; it's the working on this film thing. Like, some of the stuff I want to do with this film is not really streaming suitable, if that makes any sense. You know what, I kind of want to stick this out more, make it a more interesting silhouette. Like this, maybe? Yeah. Have we got any other questions? Yes, we do. Do you ever feel unmotivated with art? I once didn't do anything for a week with art, which just discouraged me even more. Oh yeah. Oh dude, after I finished applying to Cal Arts, I didn't draw for 8 months. And it was partly burnout, partly a lack of motivation. I just didn't feel inspired or interested. Like I said earlier, I don't really enjoy drawing very much. I don't tend to do it for fun. So, I mean, I do it for fun occasionally, but it's very rare. So when I'm feeling unmotivated, I try and find a different creative outlet so that I can still kind of get something practiced, or I go to the gym, or I run, or I like play on the piano. I just try and do different things to keep me stimulated in some way and to be productive, not necessarily for the wider world, but for myself, that I'm keeping my brain engaged, basically. Okay. God, he's got a real chunky thumb here. Something like that. Something like... Maybe like that. Yeah, that works. That's a pretty okay hand. I'm gonna adjust that angle there. Cool. Hearing you say you have 3 jobs and an art school makes me feel a ton better than I'm in the same situation at SVA. Yeah, some people really need it, unfortunately. I'm very fortunate that, I don't want to be dependent on my parents. My parents are definitely getting up there in age. They're both older than average. So, and they've still got 2 daughters that they're trying to get through school, myself and my little sister. And so I want to be able to get on my own 2 feet as soon as possible. I don't want to be a burden to anyone. And I want to be able to manage things on my own anyway, I'm not some helpless baby. So I want that to be known for myself. And so getting work is part of that. I mean, I've been paying for my own rent and my own food and things like that, and I don't want to... Okay, let me be clear. If someone else here is relying on their parents to pay for their education or pay for their rent and their food and stuff, or that they paid on their own but then ended up needing to fall back onto their parents, I do not consider that a failure. I, for myself, consider it a failure of I haven't been able to manage my money well enough, that I've been spending it too much on eating out and things, and so I'm now having to fall back on my parents helping me out. I don't want that. I want to be able to do it alone. The only problem is LA is one of the most expensive places in the world to live, so it's tricky. It's definitely tricky, but I'm getting by okay, actually, so far. This is why I really want to be able to kind of get things like YouTube off the ground so that I can have it as a consistent form of income. But, that Patreon, so forth, it's going to take a while, and it's going to take some serious consistency, something I don't know if I can provide in order for it to be profitable. But it's never been my priority with YouTube. I make content because I want you guys to have that out there in the world. I do not make these videos or these streams to make money. Each stream I've done so far has made me $10. That's not money I can live off of. And that's coming from purely ad revenue. It's not coming from donations, because I don't really get donations. So yeah, I do this for the love of doing it, How do these shoes work? They're a little bit too long. Maybe about here. Again, I'm kind of doing some overkill on these poses because the legs aren't even visible in this actual pose in the film, but here we are. Also, I need to remember that this is going to be completely straight because my art style is more graphic these days. This style is definitely still very new to me. Can you tell? Like, there's just a lot of little habits here and there that I still need to form. And it's kind of interesting, I guess. Like that. You can hear the dog snoring. At least he's peacefully asleep and not being a little butt. Something like that, methinks. Nope, his footsies are too long. That's better. Something like that. Whoops. There you go. Which of your characters from your arsenal would you say is the most enigmatic personality? Enigmatic? Ooh. I think Charlie is a bit of an enigma. They kind of don't break very often. You know, they're a real cool character, but they're not going to ever let you into their inner circle. They're not that type of person. So you have to fight hard to find out more about them. Perhaps them. Chestakov, maybe, my little sentient treasure chest mimic guy. So, he's an enigma even to himself. So that's kind of an odd one. I don't know if that really counts. But yeah. Nico is as is. He doesn't really keep secrets or anything like that. He's not had an interesting life. He's just a dude for the most part. Janie, she's terrible at keeping secrets unless she absolutely has to. So I guess the question is, does she have to? But in general, she's an open book who talks too much, takes after me, and so most of everything to do with her you probably have unwillingly found out if you meet her. Something like that. Goodness me, why is drawing and designing so hard? Sorry, I keep saying that every stream. Stick out slightly on this side, then a little more that way, then this. Okay. How about that? Alright, that seems decent. Now I need to figure out how to incorporate his jacket shapes, because they're kind of covered up. He's going to have all this stuff in his arms, which I haven't drawn at all, and that's going to cover up most of his jacket details, but for the sake of practicing how to draw this guy, I think this might be useful. I think his neck is like here, which actually means that all of this arm still needs to move in. This part can rotate. Then I bring this part in. This can go higher up. Like that. Methinks. Yeah. Something along those lines, I reckon. And then I'm just trying to make sure that there's like an equal amount of distance from where the center of the neck is to where the shoulders are, so that it feels even. Which I think is looking uneven because I've drawn the torso incorrectly. I think the torso actually is kind of more like here. So with that in mind, let's see. We have the coat kind of come down, and then he's leaning forward, so gravity is affecting the coat a little, just a little, and only a little in this case because we have like all the bags and stuff in the way. So yeah. Gosh. I'm trying so hard to make this accurate, but it's really hard when I don't know my own characters. Oh, you know what? This needs to be way higher up. All of this jazz. Something like up here. Yeah. I think. Right? Which means this can come back down. And then this can be over here, this can be here. I'm trying to avoid tangents wherever I can. It's really hard to do a drawing that accounts for that. Something along these lines I think is pretty accurate, but we shall see when we get to inking. Inking reveals all. Also, so does flipping the canvas. I'll get to that shortly too. But first, we need to get the shape of the coat, the actual outline of the coat in, because it sticks up more than, what's it called? More than his body does. But his arms cover it up so well that I kind of almost feel like there's nothing to focus on. I guess just here and here. Like that, maybe. I don't like this angle. Maybe that. Let's see, let's get rid of the underdrawing. It doesn't quite feel right, but I'm okay with it enough that like, you know, we can work with what we've got so far. Alright, I'm sorry if you answered a similar question, but can you talk through the process of taking reference photos yourself? Sure. Hang on. So I have a tripod that you can attach a phone to, and you can, so I can, let me stand it. This is its height. So the best I can get at its tallest is kind of like chest height, but I can shrink it right down. Like all of this is collapsible. This cost me I think like $20, so you can get this stuff on Amazon. I got mine from, oh, what's that big store? Not Lowe's, not Blockbuster, but it's the same color scheme, I think. Best Buy, that's it. I went to Best Buy like back in 2019 and bought all of that. So I take pictures like that. I always use my phone where it's facing me, so I can treat it a little bit like a mirror. And so if I need an angle to be specific, I try really hard to get it right. But what I do then is I don't take photos, I take videos where I'm like more or less in the pose, but I adjust it ever so slightly, whether it be angle-wise or my expression or the way my hand is. And I'll do that for like a minute per pose. And then I scrub through that video, find my favorite frames, and take a screenshot. So this image here is based off of a video. It's from a video, sorry. Have you ever had a big burnout? I suffered from a big one that lasted more than a year and I'm still recovering from it, but I'm afraid I'll never feel the same way when it comes to art. Kind of. I feel like I'm always in a state of flux. I'm never directly motivated, or like I get motivated and then there's one small blockade and suddenly I feel like I don't want to go on anymore, which is frustrating because it's like, come on, Anya, you know, this is such a small little thing. It's just one email. It's just this. It's just that. But yeah, I'm pretty terrible about being consistent and consistent both in work output and in being inspired. So I'm afraid I don't really have advice for it per se, but you say you're afraid you'll never feel the same way when it comes to art. My question for you is, why are you afraid? Are you gonna be jaded about it? Are you looking at it from a new angle? Is that necessarily a bad thing? There's different aspects you can be looking towards and feeling better about. And so, you know, I think it's good to reflect and see if a lot of the things you were thinking in the past were naivety, or if they were just like not pragmatic, or if it was like, if it was idealist, blah, blah, blah. Art is wonderful, and there's so many great things about it, but there's a lot of things that aren't so great, and you're welcome to acknowledge them, and if they end up outweighing the good, then that's okay. Your mind can change all the time, so maybe it just takes another year or something, but don't be so hard on yourself if that's the case. Let's see. Love seeing how you create. No doubt in my mind you will succeed. Ah, thanks. In Hispanic families, it is custom to stay together with a family. I myself see taking care of my parents till they pass on. Yeah, that's a very much like not a thing as much in my family. We're all kind of in different corners of the world. We all love each other very much, but we're all doing our own thing. So yeah, I mean, I do want to make sure that my parents are cared for when they get to the point when they cannot look after themselves, but they are very stubborn people, and so they probably won't let us help them to a degree. But you know, there's multiple siblings in my family, and I'd love to take care of my parents, but more realistically, I think that my sister is like the, not a homebody, but she's the one who kind of stays with the family the most and does the care side of things. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave this drawing for now, but actually wait, first, let's flip the canvas and see if there's anything that drastically needs a change. Oh, you know, one change I want to make just for pose, not even pose readability, but like to make the pose fit better. I'm gonna kind of break his wrist a little bit and have it, his thumb is in the way. I want it to feel like he's still trying to scoop up all the stuff he's spilling, because right now the angle is as if he's letting go of everything, but I want him to feel like he's still holding on to everything. I guess this doesn't tangent too much. Kind of intersects and feels a little but we can adjust the other hand too in just a moment. Zoop, 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 zoop. Zoop, 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 zoop. There we go. That might also fix the tangent in the armpit. Yeah, it does. Woo! Okay. That's something. His eyes are still really goofy, but screw it, whatever. I need to get enough sleep. I am not feeling very interesting today. I'm sorry if I'm being boring or not talking enough. Let's see some more questions. I have a question I've always wanted to ask. When you draw in your simple style with the dots for eyes, how do you make it so expressive? Oh bro, I have no idea. I think, let's see. It's the eyebrows. It's the eyebrows. It's definitely important to have like a readable pose and that can include the angles of viewing. My only real big struggle with the eyes is trying to get the character to look to the side like that without turning the whole head, because it always looks really weird. But I don't like using those little dashes that, for example, they have them on like Adventure Time and stuff. I don't want to use the dashes to fix that. So yeah, eyebrows. That's where it's at. I don't know why I'm erasing all of this. I can just boop. All right, let's get a new image up. How about debating? It's all the ones where I'm wearing brown. I have not drawn Eddie looking down. Oh, I'll deal with that another time. How about this one? This is meant to be him walking, and I don't think I picked the correct angle. But we can make this work. I'm just gonna have to guess what his legs would be doing. This is like, whoops, I selected the wrong thing. This is like the first full body shot we see of him, and he's like a teeny tiny dot in the back. La 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 la. What is your favorite music genre? At the minute, I very much enjoy like French Europop, which is weird because, well, not Europop. It's more like Euro, like indie music. Think of Polo and Pan and Vendredi sur Mer, who's actually Swiss, and Alice et moi, so Alice and me. Is it like Nouvelle Orleans, something like that, or is it the song? Bruh, it's just like a bunch of French people, which is funny because like France is a country I have zero interest in. Like people are like, I want to go to Paris. I cannot be bothered by just France as a whole. Every time I've been to France, I've unfortunately had a not so great experience, which is no hate to French people. It's just the French people I have interacted with in France have treated me, a British person, poorly, which is a stereotype, I know, which again is why I'm not reflecting on all French people, but it's why I'm like not that excited about the idea of going back. It's like I just don't feel the need. What is the thing you love to do with your free time? Sleep. I wish I was joking, but I really do love sleep because I don't get enough of it. Unfortunately though, it's either I don't get enough or I get too much. There's no in between. My body struggles to regulate its sleep ability because I have chronic fatigue. So sometimes I'm sleeping for like 16 hours. The other month I ended up sleeping for 20 hours one day, and that was really frustrating because I had a lot that I needed to get done. So yeah, it has its good days and its bad. In terms of other things I like to do in my free time, I've been enjoying the gym. I enjoy playing on the piano. What else do I enjoy? Less so makeup, but like constructing outfits and things is fun. But I do need to clear out my wardrobe pretty big time. We got 71 viewers and 71 likes in the stream. That's nice. Looks like this is a pretty quiet stream today, which is nice and chill. Something like this, perhaps. I don't know why I am going so overboard with the pose of the head right now. In fact, whoa, I hate that. Sometimes my Procreate will kind of disappear before I had a chance to do anything, as in like the keyboard. Whatever, weird. Okay. I actually need to flip this pose around because he's walking from the other side, but I'm going to follow my reference for now. It's got kind of broad shoulders. He's using his back to hold everything together. So let's keep that in mind with the flow of the pose. Hang on. Something like that. Today's word of the day for me seems to be something like that. Or phrase of the day, I should say. I noticed that in some YouTube videos, I never script my videos. I always have outlines, at least these days anyway. But it means that I kind of stumble over my words quite easily. But I'd rather stumble and edit than sound like I'm reading off of a script, I guess. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but it means, I guess, the way my brain operates. I pick a word and I end up repeating it a bunch that day. So I've had, for example, as a semi-recent one, I've had you know what I mean as another one, and I've had so anyway as another. These little mannerisms that I don't know if you guys really pick up on them and if you care, but I care and I find them very annoying. But no one's ever commented on them in my videos, so I guess that's that's helpful. I noticed them in other YouTubers, and they don't necessarily bug me, depending on what they are. Recently, I've been listening to Dreading, who's like a true crime documentary style creator, and he always uses likewise as his like big thing. So yeah, I think that's interesting stuff. All right. I just realized I gave Eddie too many fingers in this drawing. I know I didn't. Never mind, my past self was smart and my present self was not smart. We're all good. Crisis averted. I'm gonna move myself back to the middle of the frame just because. All right, so based on the angles we're seeing on my drawing, my torso is like tilting up and then my hips are kind of tilting down a little, which definitely adds to that curve in the line of action. So I'm going to keep that in mind. But let me just finish off this thumb first. Well, that's not a thumb. Hang on, let's try that again. What did I just draw? That like looked awful. I guess the thumb just looks broken in this image. Like, I'm looking at the photo, oh, whoops, and I'm like, what is happening to my digit? So I guess it's not just me. I mean, it is me, physically, this is a photo of me. And then I'll make the pinky stick out a little on this one. Cool. Actually, I'm gonna have this be less symmetrical. I'm gonna have this rotate down. There still seems to be a lack. I don't know what I did. Oh, I do know what I did. This needs to be pretty drastically foreshortened. Nope, I said foreshortened. Thank you. Like that. So then I can have enough space for this hand without it getting obstructed by the other hand. So my thumb is not visible in this currently, which means it wouldn't be visible in the final thing, but I want to practice so it's there. And then this finger is going to be the closest. Maybe here, here, here. Maybe? Oof. We are looking worse for wear today, folks. Hang on, I'm adjusting everything. Yeesh. Why? I kind of wanted this to be tilted the other way, like that. But I don't know if that looks right. I guess it does. Whatever, that'll do for now. I just need to lengthen those fingers is all. Because right now they're too thin. Oh, hang on. I'm just gonna stretch them like this. They're too thin and they're too short. So that's a little more Eddie fingery. Oh, hello Mepety, love you. Okay, 3 new baby peacocks at our house. Yeah, Papa Mepety, Papety, welcome back. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, stretch. I'm very excited about those 3 peacock babies. The patterning on them, I don't know if you saw my WhatsApp, Papsky, but they look completely different to any other babies I've seen. So yeah, it's really interesting. I wonder if they'll end up looking like pumpkin or if they'll have completely different patterning to any of our past brown peacocks. Sorry, this is like me talking to my father, but with 79 other people just listening in and not understanding any of the context. So, looks like oh, never mind. I was saying we had 84 viewers and 84 likes. Don't forget to like the video, guys, and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, also everybody say hi to my dad in the chat. It's always nice to have him stopping by to support. So, yeah. Thanks, Papsky. Okay, I never thought about like that thing so much. Right, can you give some script or writing advice? I'm trying to write a story but don't even know the first line. Lol. Oh, the actual script writing side of things, I wish I could give direct advice, but that's not something that's in my brain right now. Something I can suggest though is general storytelling. At least this is very much like a personal bias type of deal, but I really love pairing the ordinary with the extraordinary, I call it. So that is, take an ordinary moment that can happen in everyday life. And that can be like a personal experience of yours that you actually had. It could be a very broad experience that every human has, like, gosh, let's see, like for example, mishearing someone and you say, sorry, what? Sorry, what did you say? What did you say? And then after 3 times of not being able to hear what they said, you just kind of like hope it's a funny joke and just go, yeah. You know, that's like an awkward interaction. That's a very everyday standard moment. Pick something like that and then pair it with something a little more grand or unusual, and that could be the characters, it could be the world you're in. Build stakes that can be paired with this. So it's a lot of like problem solving too. So does a character want to eliminate this barrier in their life? What are they trying to achieve? And what's getting in their way? Yeah, and also with scripts, always write one script the first time around, look at it, and then start completely from scratch. Because that first script is just there to get all the good and bad ideas out of your system, and then you kind of can work with the pieces that did work, but reincorporate them into something brand new. So, yeah. Let's see, Papa says, I'm so glad you good folks are interested in my little girl's art. I think she's pretty great. Thank you, Papa. I think I'm not too bad, but I am still very honored and rather humbled by the fact that these people tune in every day. For some people, I have some really consistent viewers, and don't worry, I have noticed the people who stick around, you know? I sincerely appreciate it every time. So, thank you for making my day, you guys. And thank you for making my day, Papa. I hope you are not sweltering completely. Let me know if the animals are okay, and if there's enough shade and stuff for all of them in the heat. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, Europe is going through a really intense heat wave. As in, like, it's hotter than it is in the desert of, like, north of Los Angeles right now, but in England. That's, I mean, it sounds funny, but that's really dangerous. Like, really, really dangerous. We're not equipped for that, you know? Let's see, angle-wise. Is this right? No, it's not right. I've been drawing this wrong. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out if I'm tilted back, but my head is tilted forward, my neck is still pointing that way. Okay, cool. Noted. So, yeah. Let's see. Can you give any tips on drawing fabric? I got a little trouble with them. Yeah, anchor points is something I suggest. So let's say you have these 2 points, and that's like where the fabric is being hung up. It means all of the like flow of the fabric is it's like being caught on those points. And so everything has to come from them. And then everything is also being impacted by gravity. So your fabric wants to go down, okay? But if your anchor points are kind of getting in the way of it, you have to keep that in mind. So my fabric, let's say it's here, the fabric can't go straight down. It's being caught between these 2 points. So this is not a perfectly straight line because gravity is able to weigh down it a little bit in the center. There's less pull from the anchor points. But, and you know, the further away you get, that you still have some pull, but then the more further south you get, the easier it is for the fabric to go in the direction it wants to go. If it's just 1 point, it's almost like a cone, but our fabric is now bunched up because it's not spread out, and so you get these little ripple things. When it comes to those ripply things, I just suggest drawing a bunch of squiggles, and then you can draw lines emanating from them. Hang on, like that, and that can kind of simulate cloth. That's not very considered, but it's a basic idea. When you have fabric being tethered by something tight, so for example, let's say these are buttons and this is a chubby belly, the buttons are holding on for dear life and the fabric is being stretched sideways, so the pull is happening horizontally, which implies that it's too tight. I hope that helps. I hope that's something. And then also the other thing to keep in mind is how delicate a fabric is, like how much shear does it have? So if it is thick as leather, it's not going to have as many wrinkles or folds or anything as, say, silk. So yeah, have that in mind too. Okay, all right, I'm gonna get onto these gosh darn legs. How about that? Something like that. Gonna move this in more to be more that direction. Actually needs to be even further in. Zippity doo da zippity day doodly bop. Let's go up. Okay. Tips for keeping animation frames consistent. Having reference at your side, which is why I have my turnarounds, my expression sheets, and now my pose sheets. If you really concentrate on getting these consistent, then your animation is gonna also be more consistent by default because what you are referencing is going to be more accurate to what you're going for. That being said, how do you get your poses and so forth consistent? The turnaround is where it starts, for me at least. 11 likes till 100. Let's try and get 100 likes. Yeah, it looks like this is a much quieter stream than the last couple days we had. I think we had like 140 viewers at any one time at its peak yesterday. So yeah, don't forget to like the video. Anyway, so yeah, the turnaround, you use these horizontal guidelines to kind of find where everything is. If you do one flat drawing, whether it be 3/4 side or front, doesn't really matter, and use that as a base point for everything when the character is in a neutral pose. And then from there you can make it more complex by changing the angle, the expression, and so forth. Okay. How about moving, I'm gonna scrap this little face thing. I'm gonna move this up so that we can get his little boot in. Maybe something along these lines would make sense. That's close enough for now. Again, for now. I don't want to add too much perspective into these drawings because I don't think these characters suit that too much. Actually, that's a lie. It's gonna be completely dependent on how they behave in the 3D environments, but that is something I won't understand until I've actually incorporated them in. That's not something I'm so concerned about at this stage. Not for these poses, I mean. Okay, something like that. His whole top half of his body is too big now compared to his legs. I think that is a little more accurate. Then the feet need to actually point towards us a little more, like that, I think. Oh gosh, I don't know. We'll flip the canvas and see how much of a mess I've made of this. But in the meantime, let's see. The pointiness of the cheek is a little bit below the, whatchamacallit, the eyes. So keep that in mind. And then eyebrows, nose. Let's see, I've got a couple pictures where he is pointing up. He's looking up quite a lot here. Is he looking up that much in this? No, he's actually looking down. I totally forgot that I've messed this up already. Wow. Wow, Anya. Whoops. Okay, that's better. I mean, his eyes are still extremely high up for the character he is. Maybe there. And then his eyes are focused on the stuff in his arms. And he is kind of happy, so give him a kind of happy expression. Like this. Judging by the placement that I usually give his mouth, I would move his smile up a little. Like that. And then I'm going to flip him, actually. Because his hair... Also, you know what? This drawing isn't too bad. I'm usually expecting my stuff to be like horrifically wonky every time I flip a canvas, but no, this isn't so inaccurate. I mean, it's not perfect by any regard, but it's something. All right, let's see. Who else is... Have we got any more questions? Is there any media that you use for inspiration? Movies or songs? Well, it's different all the time, and there's so many, and I do list this quite often because this is quite a common question I get asked. I should probably put it in my FAQ. But I'll give you this. My favorite film, vibe-wise, and just like the concept and everything, is by far my favorite film, The Truman Show. If you have not watched that, it's an absolute masterpiece, and I think it's the absolute best I've ever seen Jim Carrey. I don't know, he blows me away in that film. It's just such a good story, I think. It's so interesting, and kind of is the type of world that I really like. Again, if you haven't watched it, I mean, it came out probably before most of us are born, so I feel like I don't need to worry about spoilers, but just in case. It's definitely got that dystopian meta thing, that sort of surrealism that I truly adore. You know what? Let's make his hair floof out this way, and then let's move his whole head, because his whole head is a little bit wonky. It's a little bit too far to one side. So now we've made it that it's more centered. Oh no, it's not more centered. Now it's more centered. You know, so I want to tilt this up more. And then I want to add sleeves to this side because I have neglected that. I could almost even have this weird wrinkle thing where the fabric is kind of bent too much, and so it ends up pushing itself out. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, okay, my phrase of the day definitely is something like that. Sorry if it's getting annoying and repetitive for you guys. Yeah, drink every time I say that. Or something like that. Ha 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 ha. Okay. I kind of want to bring the hands up a little more, because I want it to feel like it's ever so slightly closer to falling than it currently looks. Oh, what? Oh, hang on. Because remember, these poses, they're not just me drawing them for the fun of it, they are poses that are appearing in my film. Again, not necessarily them in their final state now, but I want to get as accurate as possible in advance so that I don't have to deal with all of this fiddling when I don't have the time for it. Can you tell us your canvas size? I always feel like my canvas size is so small. Oh, you know, that's another FAQ I need to get. I get that like 5 times per stream. This is 3,840 pixels by 2,160 pixels. But I would say generally you can work in 1,920 pixels by 1,080. That is standard HD format, so that's 16:9 aspect ratio, and is high quality enough as long as your DPI is like above 300. It's like 300. I think I go with 400 dots per inch. Yeah, but I mean, look at the zoom in on here. My stuff is not crisp. Like, look, it's real pixely, and I know it's partly because of the brush I've been using, but I think I think maybe one of the issues you're having is when you zoom, you shouldn't be zooming in so much. Like, no one's looked like, this is my finished art, right? Like, it looks pretty crisp. You should not be judging your work by zooming in this much. This is not what your artwork is supposed to be. So it might be more of a sign that you're zooming in too much. Okay. All right. Okay, so then his top kind of comes down to here, and his jacket is a little further out. I should be doing this in another layer, but I'm too lazy. I'm gonna stick it out more. Maybe here feels right in terms of how sticky outy his jacket is. Actually adjust that angle slightly so it lines up more with where his armpit goes. And then we have the annoying part because we've got so many details in the way already. But we have the whole shebang with the shebang. Words. Just where the lapel goes. Alright. Do you recommend any art courses or books? I've not really read any. If you want storytelling, Save the Cat. If you want like animation principles, there's the Drawn to Life series, there's the Animator's Survival Kit, and if you want life drawing, there is, I think it's called Force, which is very much about like dynamic drawings. Any tips for keeping characters on model? That's another common question that I get, and I should probably put in my FAQ, but from what I said earlier in the stream, it's definitely about creating your turnaround first. It could be just a head turnaround or a full body, and when you create these turnarounds, I suggest you watch BAM Animation's video about making them. They give the full advice, but the spark notes of it is have like a horizontal line. I often, when I draw each new angle, I actually draw them directly on top of each other, and then I move them out and arrange them like this. And so the horizontal lines make sure that you keep everything in the correct place, so everything is always the same length, and I suggest having your characters in a neutral pose in that space. From there, when you are drawing more complex things, break your shapes down into three-dimensional forms a little more, so like cubes and spheres and pyramids, and those are easier to keep consistent than a complex drawing. So if you keep those consistent, then you're more likely to have your details be consistent too. Okay, let's see. Let's get this line. I think his boots are thicker than I've been drawing them on these poses. They are wider. Oh, bum pickle. Okay, well, I can still make this work. I think that's fine here and here. And then I still need to shorten these weird ass toes. Cool. Actually, this angle needs to be a little different, so it lines up with what the leg as a whole is doing, not that part of the leg alone. This foot still feels very wrong. It needs to be like here, like the base of the feet, if that makes any sense, just judging by the angle. Ooh, bless me. Sorry, puppy. I just woke up the dog with that. Oopsie daisy. How are we almost 2 hours into the stream? I thought I was going to ink something today. Well, this will be my final pose then, and we can ink something just so that my thumbnail actually, like my thumbnail for this video actually stays true to its word. Okay, so we want it to go out a little on this side, then out on this side, but even shallower, and then that is kind of linked up with what I want, maybe. Maybe this, and then this can be a bit more extreme. I'm trying to make sure that the sort of overall thickness of both sides feels consistent, as in the thickness here versus here. It's okay, it's not the best. But again, inking fixes all, so inking is where I will concentrate on improving this. Also, this leg is too thick. There we go. I kind of want to shrink this whole leg down just a little. Right now it's a bit too perspective-y. Okay, that's closer to the angle that I think the floor is going to be. Have you ever seen the movie 50 First Dates? It's a love story about a lady who forgets their encounters every day. I have not watched it, but I've heard about it, and I remember people liking it. I think we actually briefly studied it in a class once at school. Maybe, like a scene from it, but I might be misremembering. Do you enjoy environment and background design, like as much as character design? No, it's one of my least favorite things actually. I can't quite explain it, but I get just very caught up with perspective. I'm good at perspective, but that's kind of the problem, where I care too much about it, and I guess I just don't end up seeing the bigger picture, and instead everything looks too mathematical. But then that means the finished product also it's like too mathematical. It doesn't feel flowy and natural, and like I end up prioritizing accuracy over interest, which isn't good when it comes to storytelling, you know? You're allowed to lie in animation, because the point is we're entertaining, we're not being fact people. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah. Okay, that covers his ear there. That's pretty decent. The last thing off this is the lapel. I need to understand the angles that I chose for the lapel, because I did that and I don't remember every single time, which is a bit of a problem because I'm gonna have to know this at some point. But what point will that be? Okay, that's close enough. And then here we can just do that. Alright, I think that's done. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna quickly add some lines in here. And some lines in here. Nope. Here. Cool. Alright. Well, how about... We've got 3 poses for Eddie now. Let's just arrange them. We have this one from yesterday, where he looks really goofy when he's sitting down because of his goofy proportions. We got this one of him about to spill all of his stuff. Let me shrink it. I want everything to be proportionally similar. So I guess his head is not accurate to the rest of him in this one. Oh well. And then we've got wind flowing in hair here. Gosh, she really does look goofy in that sitting one. Maybe if we ink that one, we'll be surprised with how it looks, both pleasantly and potentially unpleasantly. I don't know. Alright, well, yeah, so that's our eddies. I will do more, but for now, that's what we've got. I want to move on because it's 1 p.m. I have 1 hour left until I'd like to end the stream, so I can, what do you call it? I can ink him. Or, alternatively, we can ink one of Maya's drawings. Let me just get rid of these. Here are the Maya sketches. Let's get rid of the Eddie sketches. Da 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 da. I'm just gonna arrange these so that these are also all the same size as each other. That's about right. Oh wait, this one has like multiple things going on. I'm just gonna hide this down here and flatten this. So this version we can move down, because I did a version where her legs are visible. Actually, just let me show you. But I don't think it's useful to what we're doing today, or what we did yesterday, I should say. So that's there. What? Oh, okay, so this is 2. I'm gonna do a poll. Should we ink? Whoops, should we, or should I guess, should I ink Maya or Eddie? Question mark. Maya? Eddie. Ask my community. There we go. I'm curious to see what you guys want to see from me. So that can be squeezed in kind of here, I think, and I can move. That's just barely squeezing in. What if I flip it? Nope, that's even worse. And also I don't want to flip it because it's the wrong angle otherwise. Okay, then let's just do that. I like arranging my pages, but sometimes it's a total pain in the butt because, well, trying to get things laying out and actually fitting in a space is harder than it looks. 5. Oh, that is 5. Oh wait, okay, so this is 1. Because I want to make sure these are as big as possible so we can get as much detail in as possible. But they're causing each other problems. Like, wherever I go right now in its current state, this pose wants to clash with something unless I squeeze it in right here. Her phone is by her butt on the other frame, but now everything looks really tight. So let me try something else. I'm gonna hide this pose. I'm gonna bring this one all the way over. Maybe like down here. Then bring this one, touch there. This one, a little bit closer to that edge. 3. Okay, here we go. This is gonna work. Then 4, we can now move down here. All right, that's better. Now everything comfortably is fitting in. Actually, let's tweak it just a bit. There you go. Cool. All right. So, let's see. It looks like, okay, my poll is not opening. I'm only seeing one result. Everyone wants me to be inking Maya today. Okay, so she is our favorite. Cool. Then let's move on to that. We can, you know what I should do? I should make a color palette for these characters. I'm surprised I haven't done it yet. So let's do create a new palette. Whoa, I forgot I had all these ones up here. Untitled. We're gonna name this. I'm gonna make it block capitals. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna emoji. Ooh, I got a bunch of emojis. Let's see. Where's the fireworks one? It's in here, right? I know this is a sparkler, not a firework, but it's that orangey color scheme and I prioritize that. So thank you very much. What? Rude. That was extremely rude. I am so bad with technology, apparently. My space firework, and then I'm gonna select copy, and then I can make a new palette, which will be paste, and it'll be eddies. But we're gonna just do Maya's now because I don't want to bore you all. Oh, whoops. Let's have her turnaround. Cool. Actually, we've got this one full size. That's better. All right. We can give this a good old delete-a-rooney. So a skin tone to start. Then her blush. Then her hair. Then her white. Then her dress. Then her jacket. Is her eye color different? I guess it is. Alright, well, I should probably put the eye color up here. Whoa, what just happened? I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. I don't like that these all moved. Okay, here we go. So we've got skin, then we've got like, the white is applicable to the eyes and the clothing, so it's kind of in the middle, and then we've got the blue for the clothes, so yeah. I'm gonna end the poll because I guess we're working in here. Alright. Am I seeing if there's any questions? Mateo says, "You're such neat gal. Do you mean the way I draw my characters, or do you mean me as a person?" I don't know, but thank you either way. Do you like using dip pens when inking physical drawings? I have never used a dip pen, not in any major capacity anyways, but they seem cool. But yeah, I have never really used one. I don't see what the benefit to them is, other than like a stylistic thing, but I would get annoyed with having to re-dip it constantly. I love using ballpoint pens that are about to die though, or not ballpoint pens, just any pens really. There's this particular crunchy look to it that I love. So yeah. Okay, well we can close off reference then. Actually, no, we shouldn't close it off completely. We'll just get rid of this. We'll get rid of Eddie. Yeah, we can say goodbye to him in all of these. Say goodbye to that. Let's just have this this mini turnaround up here for us. Cool. Okay, so then we can do clean Maya. Actually, we can just leave this as clean because I'll get rid of this. Hang on. I'll get rid of that later once I can confirm that this drawing is in another document somewhere now. For now, we just have that, and we'll have line art. This will be base. Cool. Alright. I'm gonna duplicate Maya sketches, flatten it, and then turn the opacity down so that it's not super in the way for me. And then now I'm just gonna see if my minimum and maximum feels appropriate. I would boost it up just the teeny tiniest amount to size 8 apparently. I can hide this actually. Cool. Alright, well I'm gonna start with... Oh, I didn't give her puffy sleeves in this drawing. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to improvise. That's gonna take me a little longer, but that's okay. I can show you that I do this as well. What is my favorite show to watch? I assume you mean to watch. I mean, Gravity Falls is my favorite show. I watched an episode of that yesterday, and I forgot that it's like a lot more low budget than I thought it was. I've been so spoilt by the quality of like Goblins and CalArts films that when I was seeing a bunch of like Harmony animation errors, my mind was kind of blown. Like 13-year-old Anya did not notice any of that. But these days, I'm really into Better Call Saul. I have not caught up on the most recent episode though yet, so don't spoil it for me. I want to wait for a couple more episodes to come out before I play catch up. What other things have I been really enjoying? I don't know, I don't really watch much TV or film in general at all. Like at all. So it's kind of not really a part of my life that I consider. Like I'm one of those people that will watch a film and it very rarely will stick with me. But if it sticks with me, oh boy, it sticks with me. There's kind of no in between. Hang on, I just want to see what her sleeves do. I think what we can try is have them be pretty close to where her arm is for the most part. Then have them kind of puff in like this on the top half, and then on the bottom half we have them really expand. Kind of like that. Maybe. But I want to get this shape language to feel interesting. Maybe here. Unfortunately, because of the shape of the coat, when her arms are straight, it looks fine, but then when it is sort of downwards like this, it doesn't have the same impact. And so I kind of have to fake the shape of it a little, I think, for it to hit the way I want it to. So that it doesn't look like she just has big old bulky arms, I guess. Like this, perhaps. And then we have a leg coming up here. That sticks out too far. Here. Alright, then her skirt. I'm not quite sure how a skirt behaves when it is kind of being hoisted up like that, but I can tell you that we have some wrinkles here. So I'll add those. Do I need that third one? No. Have you got any more questions for me in the chat? I'm curious. Does anyone have anything you want me to talk about? Gonna just add a little bit of a fabric pull line here, then square off the knee slightly. This is where it would be nice to have my reference image back, but just to see which way the leg folds. So when you bend your leg, just like your arm, does the line, this sort of fold line, is it perfectly severed halfway? Is it a little bit further forward? Does it like overlap on the front half or the back half? So on. Do I like NFTs? Or what is your opinion on NFTs? I think they're dumb. Like, I don't know, it kind of just makes me cringe. And all the people that are super hyped up about it, those NFT bros that I kind of want nothing to do with. And I don't mind the whole environmental side of things. I think it's terrible, right? And I think there absolutely needs to be a more environmentally conscious way of, doing the proof of work and harvesting all of this, like what's it called, like crypto mining and all of those things. It's so messed up and like literally can ruin the planet type of deal. But that doesn't mean that it's like NFTs specifically are bad. It's a bigger issue. So once that is fixed, which I'm hoping people actually care about it enough to fix it ASAP, then what is my opinion of NFTs at that point? I just still think they're dumb. I don't know. It's just like, I don't see how that's in any way more valuable than getting like a direct commission from an artist, or like, I don't know. I don't care enough to have researched, but I know I want nothing to do with them, at least at this point in time. Unless someone really proves to me otherwise, that it can somehow be some great benefit to the world. There's people who say, oh, NFTs are a pyramid scheme. They're not a pyramid scheme. That's kind of dumb as a statement, but at the same time I get what people are saying, where the people who really profit off of NFTs are people who already are popular. Like, there's a much lower chance of you getting success from being an artist selling NFTs than if you are already like a well-known individual with already popular art. So that's the pyramid scheming nature that I think people might be referring to. I'm struggling with this thumb because I want it to read really clearly, because it needs to for this moment in the film. Ooh, that's not a good thumb. But I like the bottom half of it. How long have you been drawing like character designs, animation stuff? So I officially decided I wanted to pursue this as a career when I was 13, August the 4th, 2014 to be precise. I actually have a little YouTube Shorts / TikTok video about it. So that was the day that I started paying more attention to things like design and storytelling, not just like imitating real life and so forth. So yeah, I reckon that was when I started to focus on all of that anyway. What is your favorite film that one of the students at CalArts made? I was asked this yesterday and I couldn't think of an answer specifically, but the first one that always comes to mind is Seth Boyden's An Object at Rest. That is definitely one of the top favorites for me. It's one of the very first films that I watched at this school. Not at the school, sorry, but like that came from CalArts, and so it has a special place in my heart just by default because of that. Yeah. Someone says, how do you get into CalArts? Also, I love your art. Thank you. First of all, you apply. That's how you get in. But a more serious answer, I've actually got it in the FAQs. That's a very common question I get asked, and there's no clean answer, okay? Like, I think people think there's a magical formula, but no, there isn't. You just have to work hard at improving your art. And what do I mean by improving your art? Well, head down to the description and see what I've put there. And whilst you're at it, you might as well check out all the other questions, because I think some of them have kind of answers that apply to the general getting into CalArts, getting better art thing. Do you know what Netflix show Stranger Things? And if you know, what is your favorite character? Of course I know what Stranger Things is. I don't think anyone doesn't know, but I haven't watched it. I watched season 1 and 2 when those came out, but I cannot be bothered with the rest of the show. So yeah, sorry. not that interested. I feel like my sass has really come out today. Sorry, I'm feeling extra sassy for sure. But yeah, I don't... I have like I think it was a really cool show, and I could definitely watch it and enjoy it in theory, but One of the actors is annoying to me. I have like personal gripes with them, so yeah. That sounds really cryptic, and I mentioned that yesterday too, because I was asked that question yesterday. Looks like everyone's asking me questions I've been asked very recently. Let's see if we can get any prizes for any really unique questions from you guys. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of get so annoyed by one of the actors that it makes viewing the show much less enjoyable, which is a shame. It shouldn't be that way, but I guess my brain can't help it. I try not to hold grudges and things like that, but this one particular individual is just like kind of annoying and represents a time from my high school, or I should say a person from my high school that I want nothing to do with. Yeah. Gosh, it's really hard to get these shoes to feel good. What is this? Like getting the angle right and all of it. Doggy, can you help me? Nope, he is totally asleep. I say that he usually finds a way to announce that he's wide awake right when I think that I'm free for a little bit. What is your favorite type of moss? I mean, if you have one. If you don't have a favorite moss, what is your favorite plant? My favorite moss is pincushion moss because I'm kind of basic. There you go. Now that is a unique question. Thank you, moss, for asking me about moss. I don't know the names of any moss, but I'm assuming based on the visuals that my favorite moss is also pincushion moss. We have this like area of the garden at home that is overgrown with moss, but we just keep it because it's so pretty, and it's just these perfect little bubbles of very vibrant limey green moss. And then there's another kind of moss that I think has these tiny little yellow flowers. Well, they look like flowers, that I absolutely enjoy. So we have that too. Yeah, so cushion moss, very cute. Lack of confidence in my work is preventing me from finishing my portfolio, making new work I'm proud of. Any advice? When you say portfolio, are you meaning stuff that you actually want to send out to studios or to schools? Because if you're thinking it's a lack of confidence and not a lack of technical skill, then what was I going to say? It might mean that you just have to put it out there, or get someone else who you trust to review your stuff and tell you if you think it's good enough. Like, you know, if it's something that actually represents what you're capable of. If it's not really a confidence thing, if you think actually it might be more close to you are lacking in a particular skill set or just like an area of expertise, then it's also equally good to get feedback from, again, somebody you trust, and see if there's something you need to incorporate into your work that can then like more accurately represent every aspect of the pipeline that you're willing to work in. Did that make any sense? Probably not. I'm trying to think how else I can phrase it. So there's a difference between lacking in confidence and there being like a sort of subconscious of you knowing you're missing something. So here's my questions for you. Do you have the technical skills? And when I talk about technical skills, I mean anatomy, lighting, drawing solid forms. So solid forms does not necessarily mean 3D. It means something that can convincingly turn in 3D space. Like you feel like you could imagine it in the world with you. Do you understand perspective? Do you understand color? Those things. How are those? Do you have unique ideas? Are you including fresh perspective in your work? As in, like, are you the only person who has lived your life? And so are you able to, how would I say? Are you able to capture some of the uniquenesses of your life in your work so that it's definitely only you that could possibly be sharing this stuff? Yeah. What else? Are you showing, in terms of technical skill, are you showing the stuff that people actually want to see? So, for example, if you're a character designer, it's one thing doing nice illustrations, but it's another thing, like doing turnarounds and expression sheets, pose sheets, all the stuff that I'm currently doing. That stuff is very useful too. Yeah. And if it is a confidence thing, by the way, I think iterations can really help. And what I mean by that is you can do a drawing and then you can do it completely from scratch again and again and maybe a third time. So with each time you might learn something new or change something or like adjust your approach. Whatever it is, it kind of unlocks a new part of your brain, kind of, where you're looking at it from a new angle each time, and so you might spot things you didn't notice the first time, and so it might make you feel better because then you can also compare the first version of that drawing with the second version with the third drawing and see the sliding scale of what's working and what isn't. I hope that helps. I hope. Hey, if you have any good and encouraging advice for tips of freelance jobs, I would like to hear them. I'm at my last year studying and super scared to do freelance. Freelance can be scary, but it shouldn't be. I think one of my suggestions is reach out to the studios you know and admire and send them your portfolio, because you never know when they're going to need someone with your skill set and so forth. And that includes big studios, small studios. If you want to do like commission-based work, like for your own following, make sure you start publicizing and building a following for that. It's kind of stressful for sure. I think the most stressful part of freelance is sending your work out to a bunch of places and then never hearing back. And I think it's just so rude. I really wish there was like some kind of rule where it could literally be an automated message, right? But just something to acknowledge that you have been rejected, if that makes any sense. Like, the amount of people who have sent something out to a studio and then never heard back from the studio, so they're just in limbo forever. They're waiting, like, okay, if they see my stuff, do they know anything about me? It sucks. And so I think you just have to kind of mentally prepare yourself to reach out to a bunch of places, a bunch of different styles of job, and not expect anything. It doesn't matter how good you are. I know some of the most talented people I've ever met, and they will get ghosted by studios. So, I don't know, maybe this is just like a me thing, but yeah, that is something I suggest you kind of like be aware of and don't take it personally. Sometimes it's like they just mass clear emails where they don't care, they don't need this position right now and so forth. But that shouldn't discourage you from applying, because there are going to be those times where a studio does need someone with your skill set and they are really interested in your work, and boom, suddenly you've got a job for a couple months and it's a really great gig and you're learning a lot and you're getting loads of work made and making a bunch of new network connections. So yeah, it's worth it, I think, at the end. What else? I also suggest, I don't know where you're based, so especially if you're LA based, if you can look at the Animation Guild website, they have, I think they very recently released like a new wage survey, so you can see on average how much money to ask for certain, for certain types of roles. but I'm not very well versed in that, so I'm not too sure. Yeah. But I wish you the best. I wish anyone who's in school right now the best of luck, and I hope that you end up having fruitful careers that accurately represent what you want to be doing long term, because isn't that always nice? I don't know where I want this other leg to be. Maybe I just won't draw the other half of this leg at all. Not other half, just like the other leg. But I kind of really want to... Maybe I can just do something as basic as that and allow it to tangent. Screw it, whatever. Yep, doing it. Don't you guys hate it? Tell me I'm not the only one, where you are going to press one of these buttons up here, but you accidentally miss just slightly, and so instead of tapping the button, you just make a dot, and then you have to undo the dot. It's such a small little thing, but it's such a nuisance to me. Okay. This little pixel sticking out too much. Cool. This is taking me way too long because I'm so distracted by talking. Maybe I should shut up for a bit. No, we had this discussion the other day, I think 3 days ago it was, of people apparently are sticking around the stream to hear my advice, but also just to see the progress. And so I might as well give both at the same time. Give me talking and chatting, you know, background noise, and also give me inking. You know, it is pretty surreal though. I've been thinking about this, how I have viewers from all across the world right now, in all kinds of different time zones, all kinds of walks of life, and you're all watching this at the same time. And it's really, I really am honored that this is like a thing we can all collectively experience. I don't know, it makes me happy that I've got this little audience of people. I love you all. Maybe here, like that. Yeah. That's better. Let's stick with that. My family is sending me texts. I should check on that in a moment. Hang on. Okay, uh-oh. Let's see, is this hand, how much of the detail of this hand is going to be covered by the other hand? That should be fine in this version. Yeah, this works. Okay. Alright. What have I got left to do? I guess I want to make this really thick because this is the underside of the shoe. Anywhere else I need to adjust thickness. I want to make this thicker. I'm gonna make this thicker. I'm gonna make this top part thicker. Make this hair thicker. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna make the butt thicker. And then I'm gonna make this thicker. Alright, that's the inking on this pose done. So, seeing as we've got 25 minutes left, I'm going to just go ahead and color this one, and we are either going to call it a day here, or I'm going to, what's it called? Or I'm going to go in and do the line art of some more afterwards, we shall see. But for now, we're just going to do this. What are your guys' favorite foods? Do you have any favorite cuisine or a favorite specific meal? I'm very curious to know what you guys like to eat. I love a whole range of stuff. I'm a very non-picky eater. That being said, someone asked if I'm vegan. I am, what's it called? I am pescatarian, so I eat fish, but I don't eat any other meat. That's this year. I used to be vegetarian because I give up a different food every year, and like 2 years ago I gave up meat, but my mother is really upset at me for not eating fish. She's like the classic Soviet lady who doesn't understand that you can get full nutrition from a bunch of other stuff these days, and that in this international world we live in, I can access all of that nutrition. But for her sake, I'm eating fish again, and fish does taste good. But yes, I do not eat meat. Not for any like ethical reasons or stuff per se, although I do think that that's an added plus. I think everyone should be eating less meat. I don't think we need to stop as a whole, but we definitely need less meat in our lives, because the amount that people eat is unhealthy for themselves, unhealthy for the planet, and of course, unhealthy for the animals. Oh no, my iPad's doing that weird thing of going dark suddenly again. It did that the other day and it was such a pain. And then it goes bright again out of nowhere and it burns my eyeballs. Well, it might be that my iPad's also getting extremely hot. Again. I don't know why it does it, but it's been doing that forever. So I'm used to it at this point, and I've never had any major issues because of it. At least not that I'm aware of. Let's see, any more questions? People like pasta, fries, Mexican food, oil. My brother is in Harare. He usually works in Bulawayo though, at least it's warm by you. Oh wait, hang on, you're replying to Arthur. Oh yeah, oh wait, hang on. I missed a bunch of messages from further up. Whoopsie. This might be a personal question, but do you have a cartoon crush when you were young? When I was really little, I really crushed on Peter Pan for some reason. Like, I could not explain why. I don't know what was up with that. Who else? I mean, who didn't have a crush on Wendy from Gravity Falls? Let's see, I'm trying to think. Then I watched like The Witch Club when I was younger as well, and I was very much like enamored by kind of just all of the girls from that group, especially Amy, I think is her name, the water witch, the water fairy girl. If you guys don't know Witch, it's basically like some weird alternate version of Winx Club, but I actually think it came before Winx Club. I might be wrong though, I've never watched or read anything to do with Winx Club, but either way, yes, loved that stuff. Who else? Who else have I crushed on? Oh, at some point I crushed majorly on Tom from Star vs. the Forces of Evil for like a week, and then I got over it. Also, who didn't have a crush on Sokka from Avatar The Last Airbender? That's another one I had. Well, not really a crush, because I watched that like 2 years ago, but it was like, you know what, I want someone like this in my life really badly. That's my main answer. Hello from South Africa, hello from Zimbabwe, hello from Greece and Spain. Dude, we got people all over the place again today. It's 3 a.m. Hope your streams are very enjoyable. Oh my goodness, Hopi or Hoppy, I'm very honored that you are staying up so late to be watching me, but you should definitely get some rest. FND says, I was trying many different art styles lately just to experiment and improve more, but now I feel so lost. Do you have any thoughts on how I can regain authenticity in my art? I think I've said this before, but what I deem an art style is your artistic voice, which means it's your personal experiences, your ideas, your input into the world is what your voice is, or is what your style actually is. You can draw in any way, right? You can use any line art, any color palette, any brushes, any medium. And it's going to look different, and it's going to have its own distinctions, and some people may point you out for those distinctions. But really, what is making you you is what you make with those materials. So, for example, if you're drawing something you think you should draw because it's popular and it's absolutely beautiful, cool, good for you, but are you being true to yourself? Are you really being authentic in what you want to put out into the world? So essentially my conclusion is, I don't think it matters what art style you're working in, because I don't think I have a consistent art style. I do at the minute because I'm making a film with it, but I have a bunch of different styles I can work in. In fact, when I do a different job, I work in the style of that job, or if I'm giving freelance work and I'm allowed to choose a style, I pick something brand new. So I can do that, but what remains the same is what I have to say about the world. So if you make sure that you are being authentic to yourself in that regard, then it shouldn't be an issue in terms of the visual style of your stuff. Sorry, that's a bit long-winded, but I hope that makes sense. Rice mixed with peanut butter. That's new. I've never tried that. I can't even imagine that as a combo. But then again, I think of like Thai food and stuff, and they have rice and peanuts together, so that does make sense for sure. Yeah, I should give it a try sometime for sure. Regarding your cartoon crush, how do you feel seeing they treated Peter Pan in the new Chip and Dale movie? I had no idea Peter Pan was in that movie. I still haven't watched the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers thing. I really wanted to, but I think some friends went to the cinema on a day that I wasn't available. Yay for them, I guess. So I'm gonna have to go up my own at some point. I don't even know if it's still in cinemas though. I'll just watch it on like Disney Plus or wherever it's gonna be available. But yeah, I'm very curious now as to what you're referring to. Hi from the Philippines, hello from Brazil. My cartoon crush was and will be forever Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. I have no idea why. Marshall Lee for sure. I mean, Marceline and Marshall Lee for me. Just both of those vampire pals. Never been into things like Twilight though. I'm not a general vampire fan. I've never watched Dragon Ball Z, so I don't know who Piccolo is, but I'm very happy for you. Oh my god, they made him creepily aged up and washed out. Oh no! I mean, I know they had like a whole thing of like the old Sonic design and stuff like that, so now I really want to see this kid that's never grown up be grown up. That's terrifying though. I'm nervous now. That being said, I have no idea why I crushed on him in the first place. Like his upturned, almost piggish looking nose, like that art style, that old school Disney style, I'm not a fan of. So aesthetically, it just doesn't line up with my tastes at all. I don't know. Well, I guess I'll have to find out when I watch Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Nearly there with this drawing. Actually, you know what? Her knees need to go that way, because that's how I color them otherwise. I need to go into the thumbnail for today's stream because I actually already inked something in there, and I want to pick the color of the phone out from that real quick because I quite liked it. Actually, it might not work because the rest of the color scheme is different. Here, I did a fake inking for the thumbnail today. Yeah, I think most cartoon crushes definitely are personality based. I guess little Anya has gravitated in the past to I hate it sounds so cringy, but like bad boys kind of deal, like the cool guys and all of that. I don't know what that says about me, but there you go. Which is funny because I feel like in real life, the people I've crushed on or dated and so forth have been a real mixed bag. But most of them at the end of the day are very deeply insecure. But that may more so be because I was younger and in high school and all of us are like insecure. I don't know. Where am I coloring the phone? Here. Let's see if this color is going to actually be appropriate or if I just dove into another file for no reason. Yeah, that's close enough. I should probably, you know what? Actually, I have a plan. I'm gonna make her phone case be red. I am making design choices right now as we are speaking because I don't want her to have no phone case, and in this film I want red to kind of poke in here and there to be representative of the film as a whole, like the wider story. So there's like little snippets of this color throughout the film, like the old couple have teacups that are red, the kid is playing with a red fire truck, and the car is red of the mother and father or something. I haven't decided that yet, but stuff like that. So yeah. Okay, well, we have one Maya complete. That's good, that's something. Except I just realized I kind of did this wrong. Oh, not wrong per se, but I should have treated these all as separate colors so that it would be easier to color everything else later, but it's fine. What next? We have 10 minutes until I wanted to end this stream, so I'm just gonna like ink one more, which will definitely be longer than 10 minutes, but I feel like we ought to, you know, I want to give you a little bit more than just this one inked image today. Okay. We'll do this. This one should be faster, I hope, because I've drawn out the majority of it. And it's not especially complicated as far as I can tell. I say that, watch this being like the most, what's it called? The most complex out of all of them. Are you making a movie? Yes. Check out the description for more information, but if you want to see some of the work I have already for this film, it is called FiREWORKS, and it is on my website, both on the homepage and on the character design page. I have the script available there if you're willing to spoiler yourself. If you want to see all of the behind the scenes work, I have it all available on my Patreon for $4 a month. If you want to see my past streams, Alpha45, I recognize that username, I think you were here the other day. All of this work is for this movie. So, you know, you can check out the other streams if you want more information. What else? Yeah, so that's basically it. I want to tilt this up a little more dramatically. Gosh, I'm so picky with all the tiny, tiny details. I wish I wasn't. But here I am. Okay. Whoops. So I'm thinking this is going to be my last stream for a short while. I was going to do some storyboarding stuff, but I'm getting a little bit burnt out from working on FiREWORKS so consistently. I want to get a YouTube video done, like a regular video. Preferably before I am back at my apartment. And then I will come back to posting more. I'll have to do like a proper streaming setup though. It's so dark in my room in my apartment. It's kind of really unpleasant. So I'm gonna need to do some figuring out there and also make sure that I'm not bothering my roommate. All that jazz. But I definitely plan to keep streaming. Just, you know, maybe take a little break. A little one. Why do I like yellow so much? Why do you like the color you like so much? I don't know. I think it's just a really cheerful, fun color, and I think it's not misused, that's not the right word. It's like underappreciated, you know? I used to despise the color, but I started wanting a little bit more sunshine in my life. And it's nice to have some consistency brand-wise too, but that's not my priority. I just really like yellow. It's easy to work with. Well, I say easy to work with, as in it's reliably like, oh, if in doubt, I just pick yellow. If that makes sense. That being said, it's kind of a tricky color to write in because it's so close to white and all of that, but I make it work. And I mean, you recognize the fact that I like yellow a lot, and so I think that sort of sets the tone of like, oh, this is Anya, she likes yellow. This is Mepti, she likes yellow, whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna adjust this hair thing because it's not connected to her head correctly. It needs to be more like that, I think. I don't know, I did decide this at some point, but I've forgotten how her hair thingy connects. I drew it wrong here too. Well, I can just fix that kind of like that for now. Whatever. Doesn't look great, but it's something. And then it connects down that way. So then I can clean up the base. There you go, fixed. I want to work for a specific studio. The style shouldn't matter in my portfolio? Well, there's certain qualities that do matter. Are you, okay, what do you want to do? Like, are you a board artist? Are you a designer? Are you an animator? There's not just like one animation portfolio, you know, you have to make things tailored to the type of job you want. So that is not only stylistically, but it is also the content you're putting in there. If you're a storyboard artist, for example, TV storyboarding for, say, Nickelodeon is going to look vastly different to boarding for Pixar. So make sure that like your visuals are at least a little bit in line. The main thing really is to have range. Like, don't settle for just one drawing style in your work. Have a range, but make sure it still feels like it's collectively you. I mean, if you look at my portfolio, I have a bunch of different stuff, but for me, I'm not trying to aim for a specific studio. I just want to make the work I want, like that I enjoy, and so I prioritize my art style above like being suitable to somebody else. That being said, I do have varied work in my portfolio that can easily be spun into being more cartoony or more realistic, or 3D stuff or 2D stuff and so forth. I don't remember what is going on here. I'm gonna have to try and figure this out. Like, her arm goes down into between her legs. I remember that, but like how? I guess like this. I don't want this to be so curved, I want this to be pointy. Ah, give it back, thank you. Yeah, I seem to always miss the eraser and pen buttons up here. And I know you can just double tap with your Apple Pencil, but I always seem to forget that too. Or that ends up being a total pain in itself. Let's see. Would you consider a Gartic phone game? It's technically drawing, but it's an engaging break. You mean like publicly? As in doing it with my viewers? That sounds fun. Maybe not today, because I want to wrap up ASAP. But some other time, I'd love that. I think that would be more of a Discord stream thing though, as opposed to a YouTube thing, but I'm not sure. I'd also have to like play Gartic Phone for the first time by myself first, so that, you know, being a host, that I know what I'm doing. If I was playing with friends on stream for the first time, like someone else is organizing it all, then that would be funny, but yeah. I want to animate for Marvel Studios specifically, or Powerhouse. It's between those two. You want to animate. Okay, well then make sure that you have work that's in line with those studios. Stylistically, like, you know, that sounds like a lot of action and like very built muscular designs, and probably lots of black work and like much more kind of graphic stuff, as opposed to, say, the wobbly noodly styles of Cartoon Network or the flowy soft stuff from Pixar. So yeah, I definitely think you should orient your work in that direction, but don't be completely cut off from your natural style, especially if your natural style is really different to that work. Sometimes you're gonna have to find a balance of like, am I even capable of doing this style convincingly? For the most part, usually yes. It is I think styles are a thing that you can learn, like a drawing, like a show style. If you were planning on entering the animation industry, you should theoretically be able to work in any art style. Whether you're really good or not, or if it takes a long time to get each piece done, is a different matter. But I think the principles of learning and observing are important enough that it should work for whatever style it is that you're going for or that you're assigned. But you kind of want to be in a position where you don't have to take on the stuff you don't enjoy, you know? Let's see. Do you think paying too much attention to small details is bad because it takes you a longer time to finish art? Yeah, oh, definitely. And I'm a huge, what's it called? I was going to say victim, but it's all self-inflicted. I'm a self-inflicted victim of this behavior. I keep being too worried about things that no one else will ever notice. And like even in all of this inking today, or in my sketches, it's just like, this is not productive. I'm wasting time, and it's not gonna be paid off in any way. But here I am. So yeah, it's best to, if you can, kind of keep a cap on how much you get concerned about details. When sketching, the best approach for that is to remain zoomed out. You know, like work small like this. Don't be caught up in every little pixel, because then it prevents you from even spotting the little tiny perceived quote-unquote errors. But yes, this is something I need to improve on myself, and I'm very aware of it. I'm debating on if I should actually have an outline for the phone or not, for like where the red of the phone case will be. Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, then I guess I'm moving on to the legs. Make it straighter. There's like a small detail of I have very squared off knees in a lot of the drawings, like here you can see this kind of shape, and I want to make sure how to like keep that feeling consistent with all the other angles and all the other ways that the leg bends, but it's pretty tricky. It's really easy to get into and very intuitive, but if you do, I'd love to watch or play. So this is Gartic Phone again. Yeah, no, I definitely am not going to exclude that from being an option. I think you're right. I mean, it's popular because it's sensible and, you know, not sensible, that's probably not the right word. It should be easy to follow along and get the hang of pretty quickly. So yeah, I definitely would love to do that at some point. I might have to figure out a different time though, just because I don't think I really have time to stream just like casually. I know it's important to take breaks, but my breaks are usually off camera, you know? I'm working if I'm on stream, but I'm not getting paid enough to do this for the sake of streaming. I'm doing work for my film, which happens to be on stream. So I'm doing two things at once. But I wouldn't be doing streaming for the money because I don't make any money from this. Well, not really anyway. Does that make any sense? I feel like I'm completely rambling. Sorry. We use this level of line weight in the final film. It looks great, just curious. I would really love to, but I don't know if my software, if Harmony is gonna lend itself to working with like complex line art like this. When I say line complex, I'm talking about like the varied line weight aspect. I don't know, so we shall see. It's all up in the air. I'm trying to see how I want the shoes to look from this angle. I think I made our shoes too small for this drawing, which means I'm gonna have to move the whole drawing back a little because otherwise her feet are gonna run into the edge of the frame. So scooch ya booch, thank you Maya. I think unfortunately if we hide the sketches, like this sleeve is so obnoxiously here but it doesn't actually give a clean read on being a sleeve. It just looks like this weird blob, and then her like sleeve here going in. Hopefully once I've colored it it'll be more obvious, but it's looking a little janky right now. I don't know. I'm gonna give her pupil real quick before I forget. Okay, shoe time. Yeah, it's not showtime anymore, it's shoe time. I don't know what's happening with me and all my words. You got foot zone the other day, now I got shoe time. These are all terrible. I'm so sorry to anyone who's enduring this. Perhaps something like that. Zoop. Maybe? Yeah, this kind of works. Like that. And then erase this line. No, it's whatever. This is not... Actually, no, this needs to be higher up. I'm only gonna have two of these thingies visible. Yeah. Maybe. Let's see if we've got any more questions or things to discuss. Sometimes it takes so much time to finish an art because of this. I really need to improve it too. Yeah, getting caught up in details, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, is a total pain in the butt. I think it depends on style and what you want out of a certain. Sometimes all the detail is worth it. Oh, definitely. But if it's like animation and you're just trying to get some like an idea out, which is kind of what I'm doing here. It's like, these are not illustrations, these are technical pieces. They're technical works that are here to aid my final product. And so the proportions need to be as accurate as possible. The line weight does need to be accurate, but like the actual direct placement of the pixels and how the shading is, that is not important to this particular piece. So it is definitely dependent, for sure. Question, iPad versus on-screen tablet, which one do you feel is better based on your experience? Well, I'm much more used to an iPad, so I always gravitate towards it. But for animation work and just basing it off of like working with software, because you don't really have professional, intense level animation software for iPads, then it just naturally gravitates towards being an on-screen tablet instead. So like Huion 16-inch, for example. All right, well, we've got the inking done for this pose of Maya. Let's quickly color it in, and I might be able to be done in time. Well, I say that I wanted to finish around 6 minutes ago, but it's always nice to get a finished piece in, isn't it? I really thought I was going to get more done today, but that's okay. We inked and colored 2 Maya sketches, and we sketched 2 Eddie sketches. I think that's not too bad. Not too bad at all, actually. I'm still at that stage early enough in my career where I genuinely have no idea how fast I'm supposed to be. Like, I don't know if I'm drawing slow, if I'm drawing fast. And I'm not necessarily talking about on stream, because we've already discussed I'm talking, I'm distracted, I'm reading the chat. So there's a lot going on at once. I'm naturally not going to be as fast now with an audience as I am when I'm just working by myself, when I can sit more comfortably and all of that jazz. So yeah, but still, either way, am I a fast worker? I don't know. I should time myself and get a more accurate idea of how long it takes me to do a certain thing, and then chat with some professionals and see. Oof, my iPad is toasty. Yeah, I should probably also give my iPad a break. Wouldn't that really suck if I just lost everything because my iPad just decides to quit on me? That's why you should always back up your files, kids. I don't have backups of my Procreate stuff anywhere, but I do have backups of like the finished files in PNG form and sometimes Photoshop file form. But this might be a good excuse with my Patreon, because I put Photoshop files up there. It's a good excuse not only for me to label my layers, but to also just have those backups available. Let's see. Do you have any tips to help with keeping characters consistent with animating them? I've answered that question I think 3 times in this stream, so I don't mean to make you go hunting, but I have gone over it. But I guess in summary, use your turnaround as a reference and break down your basic shapes into basic 3D forms, so cubes, cylinders, and pyramids. And then you build your characters with that so that you can make sure that if those are consistent, then the drawing on top is more likely to be consistent too. But don't forget to account for squash and stretch and all of that jazz. I tuned in at the tail end of the stream, but I find myself overestimating how fast I can draw all the time. Yeah, I'm like, oh, you know what? I can get this post sheet done in like 2 hours, right? And here I am. This is day 3 of me doing this. It took me 5 hours on the first day to do 1 pose. Like, that is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, it's definitely a learning curve for sure, and I'm wondering how long it's going to take me to figure it all out. And I'm sure by the time I figure it out, I'll be faster. So it might be redundant information at that point. I don't know, at least I'd like to be faster. would always be very nice. Zoop. Hey, love your work. I saw that you won a scholarship for WEA. Congrats. I'm currently looking to apply for that scholarship. What advice would you give? Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I was very honored to have received that scholarship. I got a, what's it called? A Wacom tablet from that. I didn't end up using it because I have my own Huion one. So I do hope to maybe at some point sell the Cintiq. We shall see. Depends on when my larger Cintiq arrives. But yeah, I was very, very grateful and thankful to have been selected. I wish I could give you specific advice on what got me into that, but I don't know. I think my priority personally was to be authentically me. Like, all the work I did, all the goals I have are genuinely in line with what I want to do in the wider world. And so that's not just like artistically, but what I want to do with my art beyond that. So, for example, I talked about my YouTube channel. The reason I have my YouTube channel is I love educating fellow young artists and kind of giving you guys the resources that I didn't have when I was kind of getting into animation and learning art. And I think that they really value that type of stuff. But the main thing with telling them about yourself and your goals is make sure you mean it. Like, I could so easily be like, I want to be an activist about this, that, and the other, and then end up not doing that because I don't actually care as much as I claimed I did. And that just feels really, like, icky to me. So, yeah, just be you. But make sure that you're not just thinking about the art, but what the art achieves for you. Arthur, you are trying to decide between a Huion and an iPad based off your budget. I see a lot of people using the iPad. I'm just not sure of an iPad when it comes to animation. So I cannot confirm any of the thing with Sidecar. I would look into that though. But it looks like it is possible to connect your iPad to your computer if you have an Apple computer. And you can use that as your drawing surface with your computer software. So that, I think, inherently is more versatile than a Huion tablet. But it depends on also what your drawing software is. Like, do you use Procreate? Do you use Photoshop? My Huion tablet, like, I have to plug it into the wall and all of that deal. And it's not particularly portable, but it is more portable than like some giant, hefty, hulky thing. I don't really like the way that this looks. I'm gonna change this. So, yeah, I'm always gonna be the one that says, oh, go get an iPad, but it really is up to you. If you have anybody around you who has one of these items already, it might be worth asking if you can test them out. If not, you can, I'm sure that there's like Reddit discussions on that, but I really think a lot of it boils down to what software would you use? Like, do you use Procreate? If you don't really use Procreate and you focus on like software that is available on the computer, then get the Huion tablet. If portability is an absolute priority, iPad. If you want to be able to like plug in a hard drive and USBs and all multiple cables and stuff, you're probably going to want a computer-based thing. So yeah, just take a note of all of that. So I'm going to make this more pink. Diddy bop, kaboom. Nearly there with this drawing. I am enjoying her red phone case. I think this works. Initially, she had brown hair and a red cardigan, and I still really like that design. It's closer to looking like me, which is who she's meant to be based off of. But at this point, she's a totally different character anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, Just adding the blush. Oh wait, we need to do the eyes as well. Whoopsies. Alpha lock. Color, color, color. Blush. Get that blush layer going. Scribble, scribble, scribble. And then knees. I don't need to bother. Oh, I forgot to give her socks. Oh no! Look at that. No wonder something felt off. I knew it. Okay. Well, her socks are pretty short. They're kind of like a third of the way up the calf. 2/5 of the way. Something like that. Let's remove alpha lock and then let's grab that and that. Boom. Kablamo. Kablooey! There we go! Oh my gosh. We have 2 finished Maya poses and it feels so good! It feels so good to like see her have a personality a little bit. You know, like she's not just sad standing straight. That's like, oh look, she's got curvature in her back and now she's straightened up, and I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not too disappointed. I think these are okay. So now the next challenge is with these poses is like actually animating them. You know, it's one thing drawing a single image, but now can I like make these move? Because if it's gonna take me like half an hour to an hour to draw each frame, I'm never gonna finish this film. I'm gonna have to find some serious shortcuts for drawing these characters. But I think that's gonna be like a warming up type of deal. How much longer are you planning on streaming? Oh, I'm ending like right now. I'm done for the day. But yeah, so I think that's gonna be me for the week. I might come back and stream. Actually, so my family is gonna be here on Friday, so maybe Thursday I might stream one more time and then we'll leave it for a while. I'm not sure. I might not stream this coming week at all, but it's been really fun for the last week or so doing these consistent streams. Thank you all for tuning in so much. I hope that you haven't been too annoyed by all the notifications and things. But yeah, don't forget, if you have been drawing along, I had bottle of water as the prompt. Post that in the Stream Draws channel on Discord if you would like. If you weren't drawing that but were drawing something else, also feel free to post in the Stream Draws channel. If you forgot about the prompt and want to draw something now, you're welcome to post anytime, you know, as long as it's that prompt. It can be a week later, it can be a month later. I mean, this stream is staying up, so if you want to listen to the stream next year and post in Stream Draws, go for it. I'd love to see you in the Discord. I'd love to see you, you know, if you want to see more of my work, check out my website. If you want to support me more financially, head to my Patreon. I have all of my social media is at Mepity. Don't really use it anymore, but it's there if you are interested. Check out my FAQ in the description. Check out all my other links. Everything is in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, morning, evening, and I'll speak to you soon. All right, bye.